Hello, investors, and welcome to our talking point where we help ordinary South African people learn how they can become successful and savvy investors. Now, at the Wealth Masters Club, our goal is to help you learn how you too can put the correct structures in place to make tax-free money with the right kind of properties in the right kinds of trust. But obviously, to do this, you will need all the correct skills, and that is where we come in. So since 1996, we've been working with some of the brightest minds in the business, and we now have a myriad of highly skilled professionals who will help you along your way of wealth creation. Now, one of these people is joining me today, and we just want to understand a little bit more about the power that the Master's Office has over your trust. Annemarie Schutte is the MD of Treasury Trust Services, and they are our trusted partner for all things trust related. So Annemarie, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, Damien. Thank you so much for having me.
Now, Annemarie, a trust is something that's often misunderstood, and I think a lot of people fear it as well, because they have the worry that they're completely relinquishing their power when it comes to what is held by that trust. So we're going to appreciate you shedding a little bit of light on the matter today. Now, essentially, a trust is controlled by a number of laws and legal requirements that are in place for all of the participants of a trust, which is then managed and controlled by the Master of the High Court. Now, you wrote an article last week which outlines a number of these laws and the power the master has. So we've received a couple of questions on this, and I'm just going to dive right in now. So on your trust, if you have a South African trust, can you have a foreigner or a resident who is outside of South Africa acting as a trustee on behalf of that trust?
It is possible, Damien. Not necessarily advisable, just from a practical point of view, since the master will require original signatures for specific documents. There may be some other entities as well. For example, when a property is transferred, the bond attorneys and the conveyancers may also need original signatures from the trustees. So definitely possible, but from a practical point of view, it may not be the best choice.
Now, Annemarie, in your article, you spoke quite a bit about security. Now, what are the securities, or what is the security that you are referring to in that article?
So the security is basically a guarantee for the master that the trustees will act with the necessary care and diligence. It is, however, possible to dispense with that requirement as stated in the Act if it's dealt with correctly in the trust deed. So we set up our trust deeds to specifically exclude the master requesting security from the trustees. The master may still request security, or if the master has requested security, the master may vary those requirements. But we have not seen that on any of our trusts. So we can only assume we're dealing with it in the correct manner. Yes, so there's also specialized companies if you are ever required to furnish security, and they will issue that guarantee. So it's basically like a bond and a guarantee, as I said earlier, that the master will just require and keep on their records.
Now, Annemarie, can the master ever refuse to authorize a trustee to act on behalf of a trust?
So in accordance with the Act, the master will only refuse the authorization if the master requests security and the trustee doesn't provide it. But we also need to look at a couple of factors when a person is automatically disqualified from acting as a trustee, or when the master may remove that person. Some of those examples will be when a trustee is sequestrated, when a trustee becomes mentally ill, and there's a court order specifically stating that that person is incapable of managing his own affairs, and then also obviously the affairs of another person. If you've been convicted of any offense of which dishonesty is an element, or any other offense of which you have been sentenced to imprisonment, that's also another ground for either removal or where the master may refuse you to act as a trustee.
Now, Annemarie, let's say I had a trust and there was a requirement for a replacement trustee. Can the master nominate and appoint a trustee on my behalf for the trust?
So this is a very important point, Damien. The trustees need to nominate a successor. So we can either do that in the trust deed when we register the trust, or the trustees can also nominate a successor in their will. So we like to update the client's wills when we do the trust deed for the specific reason that those two documents complement each other, so that there's not two separate instructions, because on death of a trustee, we need to submit a supplementary document when we request the master to do a specific appointment for the replacement trustee. So that will either be the trust deed or the last will and testament. So we always encourage the clients to ensure that if the nomination was done in the trust deed, that there's no changes required, or if the trust deed states that the nomination will be done in the last will and testament, that that is actually done. If it's not done, or let's say the person nominated is predeceased and there's no family members, or there's no qualified person that we as the remaining trustee can offer a nomination for, then the master doesn't have a choice. The master will then consult with as many people as possible, and then the master will appoint a trustee.
And the final question I've got that we've been sent through is, if someone has been nominated as a trustee of a trust, are the rules and regulations, or are there rules and regulations that they need to adhere to? And what are the consequences if they do not comply with these rules?
It is very important for all trustees to understand their duty. So it's also always advisable for every single trustee just to run through the Trust Property Control Act. It's a very short act, doesn't necessarily say a lot, but at least to just get familiar with your duties and the role of the master, etc. We are obviously also there just to assist the clients to understand what they need to do and what they are not allowed to do. So all the trustees, and I include the clients and us as independent trustee in the statement, we need to act in the best interest of the beneficiaries, and we need to execute our duties with care and diligence. The trustees need to act jointly. So it's a very important rule for our clients not to act as if the trust assets are their own. So that's one of the most important things. If they are unsure, they have to contact their trust advisor, and we will guide them. We will give them necessary reading material, answer all their questions if they are unsure about their duties. The duties are also set out, or the powers rather, are set out in the trust deed. So the clients must please read their trust deeds as well. And then if they do not adhere to the duties set out in the act or in the trust deed, they may be removed as well. And that's also within the powers of the master. In some instances, beneficiaries may also approach the court to remove a trustee if the trustees do not act in their best interest.
Fantastic. Annemarie, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure having you join us for a chat. I mean, your insights are always so valuable and insightful. But now you at home, if you want to find out more about how a trust works or how you can correctly utilize a trust to build an investment portfolio, then check out the description below this video. You'll have an opportunity to register for a free online training taking place this weekend, where you can stream out to our special, which gives you the complete overview of our specialized way of investing in property. Now, we've also got a number of full day events coming up around South Africa over the next couple of months. So make sure you follow us on all of our social channels, and we will keep you posted of all of those happening in your area. Annemarie, once again, thank you so much. We look forward to chatting to you again very soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Damien. Bye-bye.